What the fuck? Alrighty.
Um,
Let me
I
pull the slide.
just I just want to say that I heard that you said that you found someone who need a website. Can you outsource some work to me?
No, he's doing it. Okay.
Oh,
Let me explain this
no,
pricing.
I mean Dax Alexander. Yeah, if I spell it properly.
Okay, don't draw on this
Yo,
bitch.
so
Otherwise, it's gonna fuck it up. But John, I'm gonna record this in case you want to watch it back later. But I'm gonna try and answer
thank
this
you.
pricing thing, which everyone always talks about. Because everyone's always like, how much should I charge, right? That's the biggest question. So here's the thing, is price is made up. It's made up. I don't care what anyone says. A price is made up. Like, literally, when I decided to charge what I want to charge, I sat in my room and decided, you know what? I think I should charge this. And anything ever, like, some guy could have sat there with this water bottle and went, you know what? This water bottle is going to be $100. And he could have made the price $100. Right? Someone could have decided, you know what? This mug is $1,000. Why? I don't know. I chose it to be $1,000, so $1,000 it is. Right? Prices are just made up. Right? Why was this hat $20? I don't fucking know. It was $20, so the guy probably sat there and decided it was gonna be $20. Cool. Here's the thing, though, is all prices are made up. Yet that doesn't mean people have to buy. And so the way I look at this is just a typical. The only thing I learned in school is supply and demand. Okay, you have your supply and you have your demand. And as supply goes up, demand goes down. That's how it works, right? The more of something there is, the less we value it. And the less of something there is, the more you value it. Which is why, at the very bottom here with no supply, there's a huge demand. And there's, as you can see, a huge discrepancy. Which is why here, we call this equilibrium, right? It's where supply meets demand. It's where the market is happy. And this is typically the price. And so typically speaking, this is how it works, okay? And so what happens is that equilibrium is where both parties are happy. This is where you pay for things, right? At equilibrium is where you buy your eggs, right? So let's say the eggs are $9 and you get 12 eggs. And if you're happy with that deal, you will buy, which means you're at equilibrium because the supply meets the demand. You're happy. So you pay for this product, okay? Simple as that. So here's the thing, is you can make up whatever price you want, right? You could go decide to charge your clients $10K. You could decide to charge them $1 million. You could decide to charge them $1. Does that mean they're going to buy? No, of course not. Right? They can go pay whatever they want. Right? So you can decide your price, but that doesn't mean people are going to buy, because once again, people buy here at equilibrium. Right? They buy when the supply meets the demand. They buy when they're happy. And so, John, to answer your question, to tell you exactly what this equilibrium is hard to say. So what I would do if I were you is there's something called like a general market consensus, right? In the market, there's a general consensus of prices. For example, if you go to the grocery store and the eggs, instead of $9, are $1, you're going to be like, holy shit, what a deal, right? Like, wow, this is a steal. You think these eggs are rotten, you're getting the best deal of your life, and so you're going to buy the eggs. Conversely, right? If you go to the store and the eggs are $50, you're gonna be like, what the fuck? I'm not buying no eggs. Even if you really need eggs, right? There's a high chance you won't buy them unless it's like a life or death situation. And therefore, you probably won't buy the eggs for $50. And so this shows us that the market has a general consensus of what things should cost. Okay, people have a general rough idea. If I show this water bottle, can someone give a guess of how much this water bottle costs? Anyone?
$8.
20 bucks.
How much you say?
20?
20. Spot on. $19.99 is how much this water bottle costs, right? But you can see, without knowing anything about this water bottle, the brand or anything, you have a general idea of what it costs, right? A general idea. And so, even though you've never seen this before, you've never heard of the brand, you have a general idea. That's the general market consensus, okay? And so when you go to price, you can make up whatever you want, John. You could sit here and decide, you know what? I'm going to charge $10K or $1 million or $1 or free for all I care. It doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, will the people say yes is what we have to figure out. Because that's what matters, is will they say yes? And at the end of the day, as much as we make up the price, the real people that make up the price is the market, right? The market makes up the price. Because right now, if every single person in the world decided that eggs are going to cost $50, every supplier, but all the consumers said, no, we don't want to pay that much for eggs, guess what? No one would buy these eggs for $50. And guess what would have to happen? If this company wants to continue to make money, they would have to lower the price of their eggs. until the consumers, us, the market, decide, okay, we will pay X. Let's say that's $5. And then that's what the price is, right? The market decides the price. So as much as technically you can make the price whatever you want, the market will decide what the price is going to be. Right? Because you can go up to all your prospects and say, hey, it's $1 million, but they're all going to say no. And so you could say that your product is worth $1 million and it costs $1 million, but then the second question is, will people take you up on that? And that's where we have to go to the market. And that's why I say the market always decides. And so if you go to someone and say it's 10 grand and they say no, well, what are you going to do? You can either say okay and then leave it and then you have no closed deal, or you lower the price until the market, the consumer says yes. And then you find out what the general consensus is around marketing.
No, that makes perfect sense. And that's kind of where I'm at now. I guess the reason I brought this up is I feel like I'm at that inflection point where, like, right now I know that the $5,200 from some other marketing place didn't scare him. It was more the contract and everything. And what I'm getting ready to pitch him is like a $3,000 monthly retainer. So in my head, it's like, okay, well, this is the beginning. If I set it for $3,000, it's going to be hard to jump to $5,200 later. Well, $5,200 wasn't scary to him. So that's kind of where I'm at. I understand, ideally I've heard people say you're supposed to charge as much as you can do without laughing, or, basically whatever the market kind of says. If they say yes, then that's the value. So that's kind of why I brought it up. I guess I've never really priced it out before. I've priced out websites before. I've priced out some other stuff, but I've never really priced out media buying, and I've never priced out SEO. So I wasn't even sure, like, if $1,500 a month for SEO is accurate, or if that's like super cheap and just obnoxiously low.
Market. Like, if you go to Jeff Bezos right now and say, hey man, I'm gonna do SEO for you, right? I'm gonna do your SEO. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, and you make $1 billion a day. I'm going to bring you an extra 1%. 1% of $1 billion is fuck if I know. What is that, $1 million? I don't know, something like that. Maybe 10 million, whatever the case is. Whatever that number is, 10 million, whatever the case is, right? You bring him an extra lot of money per day. If you charge him $1,000, he'd laugh at you, right? But if you go to a local whatever guy and you say, hey man, I'm going to run your SEO ads, and you bring him an extra 10K, and then you charge 2K, that's a fair deal, right? That's like, okay, fair enough, makes sense. So once again, it also depends, because if you work with a company doing millions, the odds are you're going to make them a lot more money. And so your service is more valuable to people that you make more money for, which is why you can't charge, like, you should ideally charge the same thing, but that's because you should only work with the same customers, right? Like, the idea, the content of charging the same for every customer is because, in theory, we should be working with similar customers. We shouldn't be working with Jeff Bezos at Amazon and then go work for a local cleaning lady. Like that doesn't really make any sense, right? And so that's why it's hard to say and be like, oh, well, your price should be this. Because what depends, are you working with a local cleaning lady or Jeff Bezos? Because that's going to be a huge differentiator, right, in what you do, what results you bring, etc.
Agreed, and I completely understand. In this case, I guess for a little bit more background context, last year he did 240,000. This year he's shooting for 500,000. He's looking, like I said, looking to put 50 or 60,000 into investing in his advertising and marketing. So I'm just trying to figure out how I can capture that 50 to 60K while, giving him the best value for it. His average ticket is $10,000. I think right now he does like a boosted post, $500 once a week, and he's getting about a 10K project out of it. So if I can get him at least qualified, he said he would have been fine for that 12-month contract if they could have guaranteed him 500K in opportunities a year, which at 52 weeks a year, $10,000 average job, if I can just get him one qualified call a week, that reaches his whole, $500,000 of guaranteed pipeline, guaranteed opportunities that he was wanting. So I guess where I'm at is, like I said, I'm getting ready to pitch something to him for 3K. I really don't have much more time to go to the market because I need to send this off today, probably yesterday. So this is like a last pitch effort. I haven't talked to anyone else ever about SEO, so I don't know what people charge of SEO. My partner seems to think $1,500 a month's fine, and he says we can get it to 3K at some point. I really don't know if anyone even charges 3K. I haven't done enough market research, but like I said, I need to send this off today.
People definitely do, right? And it's a lot easier to go down in price than it is up, because if you go up in price, you have to justify. And so it means you technically have to add new things to the price. And so that's what the saying is, like, charge as much as you can, because you can always negotiate down, but you can't negotiate up, right? The only way you can negotiate up is if you add new terms to the agreement, right? So like, okay, well, we're going to go to 3K, and for going to 3K, we're going to give you extra things. It's like, typically it doesn't really work. And so that's where the saying of, like, charge as much as you possibly can comes in, right? So,
and that's why I'm asking now, because like I said, now is that time to do it, and I don't want to mess up and say 3K today when I should have said 5,200, and I can't fix it later.
Well, now one thing I'd also clarify. You said that he wants to spend $60K per year on
Yes, sir.
marketing.
Yeah.
What does that entail?
Yes.
Because if he's sending $5K a month to you, that's $60K off the rip without even including ad spend. And so how much is he going to
Right.
spend
Yeah.
on ad spend? Right?
So
That's something
my
else you
plan.
want to
Yeah. Yeah.
clarify. Right? And only he knows that. I don't know that. I don't know the answer to this question. So I would
I don't think
want
he
to
knows
know
either.
this.
Yeah.
Right? Like this is why like
I think.
sometimes you got to sit down and figure this out with your client because right now he's saying, "Well, yeah, I'll spend, 50, 60K a year on advertising." Well, what does that mean? Like you just want to spend 50K on advertising agencies, but then what about the ad spend? How much do you want to spend in ad spend? It's like, "Oh, no, I want to do this all included." Oh, well, all included now it's a different story, right? It's like how much are you going to spend? He's like, "Oh, I want to spend at least, you do the math. Well, if we spend 3K a month on ads, that's going to get you, like, for example, 100 leads turns into 5 projects, right? 5 projects at whatever the case is,
10K.
10K, right? It would be 50K a month. 50K times 12 months is more than his goal of 500K a year, right? So it's like, okay,
Right.
if we hit our KPIs, this will work. And then if you do the math, you take your 2K a month from this, right? Because it's 5K a month. You're
Right.
spending 3K on ads. 2K goes to you. And then you could even have like a little performance thing. Like, if we hit 500K a year, or, I would do it on a monthly basis. If we hit this per month bonus, like little bonuses, like some commission.
I like that. That makes sense.
Right. Therefore, there's an incentive for you to actually get him results. Because, like, hey, it's 2K. Like, just as an example, right? Like, as an example, all right, so our price is 2K per month plus 3K on ads per month plus, let's just say, 5% on closed deals, right? And therefore, it's like, this is the base you pay us for doing our thing. This is how much you spend on the ads, and this is how much you pay us when we get results. So therefore, we're both, we both have skin in the game. We both have aligned incentives. Like that's an example of a way you could structure it.
No, and that's great. And that's exactly what I'm hoping for is experienced examples from someone that's done it before. Because like I said, I haven't done this. I've met with this guy in person, face to face. It went really well. We talked more about like, goals, what he wants, and not much about money. And I'll be honest, when it gets to money, I kind of clam up and get nervous and don't bring it up too much. That's kind of like talk about future casting, working forward. Here's what we're going to do. And then like, all right, man, just send me the invoice and I'll send a payment. And I'm like, fuck, I don't know what the price. And so then I kind of get stuck.
Yeah. Well, I would figure this out first because until this is hard to like because all of a sudden you send him an invoice for 5K a month. He's like, all right, sounds good. And then you're like, all right, cool. So let's connect your card for ad spend. He's like, what? I thought that was included in the 5K. And now it's like,
Right.
Right. That's why I want to make sure.
Now I'm assuming retainers are typically lower than the ad spend, correct? Like if he was doing 3K in ad spend, my retainer shouldn't be 4.
Yeah, typically, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so this has been very helpful. Thank you very much.
So yeah, that's how I would go about pricing. And once again, like the one thing I'll reiterate to everyone here is you can make up the price, but at the end of the day, the market decides the price. And so the best way to really, really solidify and lock in your price is just get more customers. Get more users to use your product because as you get more users, you start to get a sense of the demand, right? You start to get a feel, once again, of, this is our demand, this is our supply. You start to get a feel like, where is the demand for my product, right? Where is the supply for this thing, right? And then once you have this, you have a bunch of customers, you start to realize like, oh, people are willing to pay a lot more for this. Or, wow, the reason I'm not getting customers is because I'm charging way too much and the supply doesn't meet the demand. Okay, maybe we got to lower the price, right? Or we got to increase the demand. That's hard to do, right? It's hard to artificially increase demand. This is like some economic shit here, right? But that's why at the end of the day, the best thing you can do is just sign more customers because then you'll start to get a feel of like what will people pay and what kind of results am I generating, right? Because if you're starting to generate each client 100K a month, you have no problem charging 10K a month if you generate them 100K a month. Once again, you only know this by getting users. And that's why almost everything in the agency space, or specifically in SMMA, comes back to one thing, which is get more customers. Because getting more customers solves every problem. This is why this is all your focus should be on, is getting more customers, right? Because right now, if you had 10 customers you already serve, you probably would have a better answer to how much you should charge. And the thing is, everyone's problem here can be solved by getting more customers, for the most part, right? Most of you don't have these super complex, team dynamics where that need to be solved. It's just basic stuff that can be solved by getting more customers. Getting more customers solves everything. It solves churn. It solves a poor service. It solves bad marketing. Like, it just solves everything. So, yeah. Boom. Boom, bidaloo, bam.
Awesome. Thank you, man.
No worries. Alrighty, there is some SMMA pricing, like actually high level, not just like, oh, I don't know, charge $500. Like this is literally, like this is actually how pricing works in the real world. Like why this water bottle is $20, why this mouse was $130, like why things are priced the way they are is because of what we just talked about here. More importantly, this. Okay, the only thing I learned in school is this right here. Okay, it's your supply and your demand. As demand goes up, supply goes down. Or rather said, as supply goes down, demand goes up. Right? When there's only one girl in the room, every guy wants that girl. When there's 100 girls in the room, no one really cares about that one girl anymore because there's too much supply. Right? The less there is of something, that's what we call scarcity. Right? When there's less of something, less supply, now there's scarcity. People are like, oh shit, I want that. It's why gold is so valuable. It's why Bitcoin is valuable. There's not abundant supply. Right? When there's an abundant supply like water or oxygen, which is up here, there's an abundant supply of this stuff. There's very little demand. You look at the demand's down here. There's a huge discrepancy. Okay? When you find that dream girl, the dream girl's up here. There's only one dream girl in the world, right? There's only one of them. Therefore, the supply is literally one, which is why the demand is so high for all these dream girls. Okay? This is how it works for everything in life. Bitcoin, gold, I don't care. Eggs, doesn't matter. Everything follows this graph. I'll draw it out one more time just to make it make sense in case anyone actually cares. So this is your demand. Demand goes up as supply goes down. Okay? So this is up and down. The less there is of something, the more people want it. This is basic economics. The less there is of something, the more people want it. Okay? The less readily available. Right? And the more of something there is, the less people want it. As you can see here. Right? Simple as that. So there you go. And typically, this is priced on the left-hand side. As you can see, that price will go up when there's more demand. Okay, cool. That's that. Well, economics lesson for y'all on pricing. Hope you enjoyed.